Hey guys, Scrublord here, and welcome to another episode of Scrub Souls. In this episode, we're going to be taking my level 1 character, my SL1 character, through Anor Londo. We're going to kill the dual Sullivans beasts, and we're going to take on the boss of this area, Aldrich, the Devourer of Gods. There are a couple of NPCs in this area that can prove quite challenging if you don't get them separated, and basically that's the way you have to deal with them. Really, I mean, just get to the point where you've got a clear attack on one of them, and after one of them's gone, even if you die, it doesn't make a difference. They don't respawn. So just take these guys out as best you can. They're difficult and irritating. I actually did manage to take them out while retaining my ember from Sullivan, which was fine because I plan on going down to the beasts and the extra health would be good, but it ends up causing me a little bit of trouble, as you're about to see. I've spent a lot of time in Dark Souls games, various games as well as Bloodborne, with a level 1 or level 4 character in the case of Bloodborne. But I have never, ever been invaded at base level. I figured I'd try to go ahead and grab my drops rather than directly addressing Wolf Manatee, and just ran around grabbing things and then headed for the arena to have a friendly duel at SL1. I went ahead and drank all of my Estus. I guess that's what you're supposed to do to signify a friendly duel, but maybe he didn't know that. But that's okay, he didn't really waste much of my time. He killed me pretty quick. But, at least he wasn't mean about it or anything. It turns out that he was an SL1 too. We exchanged pleasantries. His were a bit honeyed, and mine were maybe a bit salty. But I guess that's okay, because I've never been invaded at SL1 before. It was kind of a unique experience. And to his credit, he invaded me a second time, but granted me a reprieve. Thanks, buddy. So, if you watch my double Sullivan beast kill at SL1, you're probably wondering how I pulled it off, and guess who's got the raw footage? I do. If you hit these guys in the mouth, you can go ahead and get a visceral, and if your visceral doesn't kill them, they'll just kind of flail around on their backs, almost like they're asleep after a few seconds. The trick, of course, to getting the video that I wanted was to get them close to one another and visceral them both, so I could have them sleeping next to one another. And then turn off your HUD for a sweet screeny. But, of course, the reason I came was to get my Ring of Favor, so you just go ahead and kill them. They just take one shot here. And that gives you the Ring of Favor and protection, I guess, if you're playing Dark Souls 1. Invasions and theatrics aside, now it's probably time to head towards Aldrich, the Devourer of Gods, and you'll probably want to pick up a few items on the way. The most important of which is the Easterner's Ashes, which will allow you to buy large Titanite shards from the Handmaiden in the Firelink Shrine. Fancy moves and a lot of dodging will probably go ahead and get you to the next bonfire, and I wouldn't bother fighting anything up here. There's nothing really of interest until you get to what I think of as the boss bonfire. If you're watching this video because you're also doing an SL1, I would go ahead and skip the whole Dark Moon Blade stuff, it's just going to make you have to run up here a second time. Hit your bonfire and head for the boss. There are a few items you want to pick up here and maybe a few enemies that you want to kill. After you pick up the Giant's Cold, your temptation is going to be to run down and fight these guys, but it can be pretty difficult. They pretty much just spam you with fire attacks. And this route is likely to get you dead. The better route is to probably run to the far side of the arena and go ahead and YOLO the lever to get the door open so that you've got a shortcut to the boss. Of course, the spider dog kind of stands in your way, so I'd go ahead and just sprint down here and avoid everything you can and see if you can't make it to the other side of the bridge. If you can get past the bonfire and on the other side of this bridge here, nothing will actually follow you forward. This is a great time to remove your HUD and take an awesome screeny, and then you can pull out a crossbow and just take these guys out at your leisure and pick up the Aldrich's Ruby, a ring that you'll never use, from the spider dog. Now that you've got a clear path leading up to the boss, go ahead and grab this chest here and get an Estus shard. This is the area where you originally approached Smoen Orenstein in the original Dark Souls 1, but in this case we're facing Aldrich, the Devourer of Gods, and let's go ahead and fight him. Now, on my first SL1, I think Aldrich was one of the most difficult bosses that I dealt with, and a lot of that had to do with the learning curve of how to deal with him. And the real way to deal with this guy is just to be really aggressive. Every time that Aldrich teleports, he has a much better chance of killing you. So the point is to get in the middle of the arena, sprint towards him, avoid the magic balls, avoid any attack that will cause you to back up from him, and go ahead and take him down as quickly as possible. If you can get to Aldrich quick enough, when he respawns, he will not shoot the magic balls, and that's going to make things a lot easier. In this case, I failed. I was too far away, I was out of position, and he got off the magic balls, and fortunately I survived, but that can always end the run. Get away from him as he does that magic slam kind of as he disappears, and get to the next version of Aldrich, and here you see no magic balls, no arrow rain, no crazy soul spears. Just go ahead and get as close to him as possible. Stick to this guy like white on rice. As you can see, despite the fact that we're fighting this guy with a level 1 character, we've almost got him dead already, and it hasn't taken very long. And there he goes. So really, the key here is just aggression. So I suppose we should go ahead and take a look at what I'm using for this fight. I am still SL1. I've got a lot of 15s because I'm using the Prisoner's Chain and the Knight's Ring. I'm using the Fire Broadsword plus 10, the Dragon Crest Shield, the armor that we got from Creighton in the last episode, as well as the Fire Clutch Ring, the Magic Stoneplate Ring, the Prisoner's Chain, and the Knight's Ring. And that's all there is to it. Thanks for watching. Leave a like and subscribe, and I guess we're headed to Yorm next.